Hello and welcome to The Balcony is Closed. I'm Finnegan Gooding, and these are my top 10 favorite movies of 2015. This is my personal opinion on my 10 best films of the year. This list is completely subjective. If you have a top 10 list, post in the comments. I'd be happy to see it. And a couple things to keep in mind. I did not see every movie to come out in 2015. Some later films don't release around here until January. I didn't get a chance to see those, including The Revenant and The Hateful Eight. Also, a score that I give a movie is completely irrelevant. I can put any film anywhere regardless of the score. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get right to it. Coming in at number 10 is the new James Bond film, Spectre. Now, I am a huge James Bond fan. I've seen almost every film in the franchise, so I had large expectations for this movie. And it's not as good as Casino Royale or Skyfall, but Spectre is still a lot of fun. The action was great, especially a certain scene on a train that was absolutely stunning. The cinematography is gorgeous, the villains were great, and Daniel Craig, once again, kills it as James Bond. Overall, a very exciting flick, and one, as a James Bond superfan, did not disappoint me. I really hope this isn't Craig's last bow, but if it is, he went out on a good one. Some filmmakers lose sight of their talent as the years go on, and Steven Spielberg is definitely not one of those people. Take Bridge of Spies, for example. Bridge of Spies was a very good film about the paranoia of the Cold War and a man who was stuck right in the middle. Tom Hanks plays this man who negotiates a deal between the Soviets and the Americans, and he's great as always, but the real standout is Mark Rylance, who plays a Soviet spy. He better be nominated at the Oscars. He deserves it. It's a great, yet very soft-spoken performance. Bridge of Spies is a very well-directed film with a great script and makes me even more curious for what Spielberg does in the future. Another big blockbuster at number 8, Avengers: Age of Ultron. This is exactly what I wanted from this movie. It hit all the right notes, with great action, great humor, and a fantastic villain in Ultron. He was great. This film had more of everything. Everything about it was bigger than the first Avengers film. It had more heroes, more action scenes, more jokes. Everything about it was more. That doesn't necessarily make it better, but it was a ton of fun to watch in the theater, to laugh and cheer along, and just watch the Avengers be awesome. I saw it twice, it got better the second time. I love this movie. Talk about keeping a franchise moving along. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation marked 17 years of this franchise, and it just might be the best of the whole bunch. I swear Tom Cruise is never going to stop. He's in his 50s now, and he's still doing these crazy stunts himself, hanging from airplanes, doing motorcycle tricks, just being a badass. That is incredible. But it's not just the stunts that's great in Rogue Nation. The supporting cast is also really good. Jeremy Renner, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, and Rebecca Ferguson, a newcomer who pretty much just stole almost all of her scenes. This was a really exciting movie too. There's a particular scene in the Opera House that just blew my mind. It was incredible. And bring on number 6 in this franchise. I just can't wait. Number 6 is one of the biggest surprises of the year, and that is Creed. When I saw the trailers for this movie, I was looking forward to it, but never thought it was going to be this good. This is how you do Rocky. And all the usual elements of a Rocky film, but it can stand alone as its own movie. It kind of fits in, too. It's all about the son of Apollo Creed, played by Michael B. Jordan, trying to stand on his own as a boxer. Interesting. And Michael B. Jordan, you are excused from Fant Four Stick. You don't have to live with that anymore. You were so great in Creed. And Stallone, he was incredible in this movie. It's some of the best stuff he has ever done. This is an Oscar-worthy performance. He has not lost his charm. And during the end fight scene, everyone, I mean everyone in my theater, was standing up and cheering, including me. It was just like watching a real boxing match. It was that immersive. I heard somewhere that the director is doing the Black Panther movie. I am infinitely more excited. Getting down to the nitty-gritty here. These are the movies that really hit me, and number 5 is Mad Max Fury Road. By far the best straight-up action movie of the year. This movie proves that visual storytelling is not dead. George Miller was able to tell a story without really explaining much through words. That's something I think a lot of filmmakers and directors can learn from. This movie did everything I wanted it to do, and more. It exceeded expectations. This movie never stops moving. It's very fast-paced, and it's absolutely insane, and doesn't make sense, but that is all part of the charm. It does what it wants, and that makes Mad Max Fury Road one of the most unique experiences of the year. Charlize Theron knocks it out of the park in this movie. I love Tom Hardy as much as the next guy, but Theron was the standout. She is Oscar-worthy in this movie. The world needs more movies like Mad Max Fury Road. It understood the action genre like no other film this year. Probably the most feel-good movie of the year is also one of the best, and that would be The Martian. I had really high hopes for this movie, and The Martian blew them all out of the water. It is such a joy to see Ridley Scott making a great movie again, and The Martian is clearly one of his best yet. This is a movie that could have been really cliche and depressing, where he just cries the whole time, sits around, thinks about being alone, and it's just boring. But no, the movie is instead really funny and exciting and really uplifting about life and the will to survive. And everyone is so good in the movie. Matt Damon gives one of the best performances of the year, and also Chiwetel Ejiofor is also a great performance, very overlooked, but he was, again, a real standout. For all that, I salute you, Ridley Scott. Make more movies like this. Coming in at my number 3 is a movie I would put my money on to win Best Pictures at the Oscars, and that would be Spotlight. This movie is based on the true story of the Boston Globe reporters that uncovered the sex abuse scandal in the Catholic Church. This movie made me feel all kinds of feelings when I was watching it. Sadness, hope, excitement, anger, and so much more. Spotlight made the audience care about the story, and therefore the reaction would be stronger to the events of the film, and it totally worked. This movie pretty much hit everything a great movie needs to hit. Great acting, especially by Mark Ruffalo and Michael Keaton. Great cinematography, a great score by Howard Shore, and great directing and writing by Todd McCarthy. Being the best drama of the year gets you number 3. Go to News Spotlight. It's really hard to put one of the greatest animated films I've ever seen at number 2, but here I go. Inside Out. Talk about a great film. Not just a great kid film, but a great film. Both adults and children can watch and love Inside Out because everyone can relate to it. If you have ever felt any emotion, you can relate to this movie. And this is one of Pixar's all-time best films. I mean, up there with Toy Story 3 and Finding Nemo. It's that good. It's funny. It's sad. It's exciting. It is everything a Pixar movie has to be and more. And by far, this is the most affecting film of 2015. It is genius. Every single moment of this film is genius. From the animation to the music. Seriously, track 19 on the soundtrack absolutely blew my mind. Please listen to it. It is amazing. When I saw it, I said, there is no way that I will see a movie in 2015 that is better than Inside Out. I was wrong. Sorry, Inside Out. I saw you 3 times in the theaters. But there is another. Here it is, guys. My number 1 favorite movie of 2015. You may have guessed it already. You all knew it was going to be on here, and turns out it is number 1. And that is Star Wars The Force Awakens. The fact that this was my number 1 most anticipated movie of all time, and it was completely satisfying, made it so much better. And I am honestly surprised just how well J.J. Abrams handled the hype of this movie. This is a guy that knows how to handle a movie. We've seen it in the past. But this movie was honestly one of the best Star Wars movies of all time, up there with Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope, and I mean that. All of the characters were compelling and interesting. Rey, Finn, Poe, and Kylo Ren were all really fleshed out. Kylo Ren, particularly, he was really intimidating, even without his mask on. But they made him an incredibly unique character of the Star Wars universe. He was basically Anakin done right. The Force Awakens is a very well-made film with great visuals, great action, great acting, and a fantastic score from Mr. John Williams. Guy knocks it out of the park again. He always does. This film also does a very good job of combining the old and the new. There are new elements, new characters, and new planets, but it also brings back the old characters and makes them feel evolved and lived in. And finally, no spoilers, but the climax of this movie was fantastic. Go see Force Awakens. That's really all I can say about it. This film did not disappoint me. It did everything I wanted it to do. And for a Star Wars movie, not disappointing at all, makes it worthy of #1. So do you have a top 10 list? Leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to read it. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all later.